Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Channeled Wisdom Circle. Good morning, good afternoon, good day, good time, whenever you are tuning in. Um, so I'm just gonna let you know up front, okay? My stream came through much calmer today when I channeled, so I don't think we gonna get energetically yelled at today. Okay, we're good, we're good. But going off of that really quick, make sure that you are applying the messages and the wisdom given, okay? Just small steps apply. So for today, the topic is momentum. And we gonna break it all down. But the topic is momentum. And two images that came through to me when I channeled in the specific topic of the day. First, it was the for my astrology folks out there, the symbol was for Aries. It's like, oh, okay, interesting. And then it brought me back to that image. I believe that was from yesterday, in which I communicated the sun moving forward, and that's the focused intention and all of the planets orbiting on your additional goals and things that you're working towards. Those two images came back to me. So with the Aries pop up, that may be that you all should look at your own natal chart and see which house Aries falls on, or if you have any Aries placements. That may be the areas where you need some momentum right now. Check it out, see if it resonates, okay? So, one of the things with the talk of momentum today is staying close to the fire. Now, this is a very common saying that we hear, staying close to the fire, which basically means staying close to the things that fuels you, whether that is a loving, supportive community, that is the hobbies and things that you do that light you up inside, whatever it is that keeps you motivated, staying close to the fire. So you can not only stay warm and stay active, right? But you can also have that illumination, that clarity that comes from staying close to the fire, right? So with this one also, I was guided to check and see which divinity sessions had the word fire in it. And the one that stuck out to me is from divinity session number 4, just an excerpt of it. I'm going to share it today, which is, "Come forth and behold the smoke of fire, creation. Listen to my words. Feel the transformations made within, be the transformations from within." I love that one. That feels good to say, right? So that one in particular was really speaking about transmutation, utilizing, or the way it was coming to me today to speak on was about transmutation and understanding that we don't carry everything along the entire journey, energetically or physically. Some things we need to change our perspective on, change our relation to, and transmute those energies, turn it into something else that will then serve you as the fuel on your journey to maintain that momentum and keep going forward. So, with me saying that, I just want you to take this moment right now and think of anything in your life right now that you know you need to transmute, that you know you need to turn into fuel for the journey. That may be turning pain into power, something that hurt you, reclaiming your power from that, transforming how you view that experience, how you will continue to respond to that. And then just let it be the fuel, put it in the gas tank, right? So just think about what that may be for you right now. What is it that you need to transform to help you move forward? And I'm going to take a sip on that. Give you a minute to let it marinate. So, with this message of momentum, understand that even one-time decisions also builds momentum. So, in saying that, I'm both talking about when you have built a new habit that you want to have that is serving you, and you start to decide, oh, I'm actually going to do this other thing that does not support your goals, that does not support your forward momentum. That one-time decision pulls away from the direction that you're going and steers somewhere else. It builds momentum in a different direction. So be mindful of that in the decisions that are not in alignment with where you want to go, your best interests, your path and purpose. And also the small decisions you can make to realign, the small decisions that you can make to help you get yourself back on track. Even one decision starts to build that momentum. But again, that is active. That is having the awareness of what is, right? I'm going to do a couple callbacks to previous messages. That is being honest with yourself and taking that honest assessment of what is. Asking the question, do I want this to continue or not? And then from that, making a decision, making a commitment to where it is you're going to go from there. Free from self-judgment, free from any shame or guilt around what was before, and simply focusing on where you want to go. So with this momentum and with the image of, I'm going to say, your personal solar system, in that imagery that I gave with the sun moving forward and all of the planets circling and all going in one direction, you are that sun. You are the light of consciousness moving forward. Your thoughts, your habits, the things that you choose to engage in, that you choose to consume, fuels that momentum, which is why I asked what needs to be transmuted or transformed. Because you might be steering that light of consciousness back into the darkness, back into the shadows, back under the masks. I love when I channel, and ain't nobody got time for that. All right? We're bouncing around a little bit, stick with me. Being mindful of how you are investing your time. What are you putting your time into? And utilizing that mindfulness to help you with the time management that you need. We were talking yesterday about balance, right? Balancing the action, balancing the rest. Time management is needed for that. Balancing out when you are focusing on each individual pillar, when you are focused on analysis and reevaluation, retrospection, and when you're focused on execution, moving forward, taking the actions. Balancing out that, but being mindful, being present and aware of what it is that you're doing throughout your day. Because you may have started your day with great momentum. You woke up, you did your morning routine, everything was great. And then somebody texted or called your phone, and that one thing gave you the opportunity to choose and architect your reality and determine where your energy is going to go from there. But instead of actively choosing it, being mindful in those moments to choose it, you let that thing steer you off course. Now the rest of your day is unfocused. Now the rest of your day is filled with just discordant energy, out of alignment, just out of alignment, right? Because of a previous moment where you were not mindful. In saying that, you can always build in checks throughout your day. It can be mindfulness checks, it can be manifestation checks or alarms, notifications, to bring you back to that moment, to snap you out of whatever momentum you were in. So you have a moment to check yourself and decide, okay, is this the momentum that I want? Am I building in the direction that I want? Oh no, all right, let me close out this social media right now. Because you look up the lack of mindfulness and realize, oh, 2 hours went by. That one decision and I'm going to stick with this example for now, that one decision of opening social media just to check, you didn't even have the notifications, nobody even messaged you, just to check. And then you ended up scrolling and scrolling and going off course for 2 hours or however long. One decision also builds momentum. So that mindfulness, it's mindfulness and momentum today. That's what we're talking about, mindfulness and momentum. To determine if you are actively standing in your power or if something is steering you. We speak often about questioning who's in the driver's seat, what's in the driver's seat, if it is your soul, or if it's traumas, dramas, ego, and all these other things. Having those checks throughout the day. And in me saying that and mentioning astrology before, has me thinking about the retrogrades. And even if you don't know astrology, you don't study it, retrogrades essentially are times when it appears as though a planet is moving backwards. And during those times, whatever that particular planet rules, it's good to review, to go back and do, I would say, an audit of how you've been using those energies, how it has been expressing through you, right? Just giving that little bit of context for what I'm going to say next. With that coming up as a part of what I channeled in for today, also making sure that you're checking yourself, you're giving yourself those moments of retrospection to review how you've been performing. I'm thinking of it in terms of work and success indicators and all of these things. Like how have you been progressing? How have you been steering your momentum? Taking the time, that mindfulness, even throughout one singular day to review, okay, how did my morning go? Okay, that went how I wanted it to go, but I didn't get to do this thing. All right, where can I tweak and add it in? Because we always say life is gonna life, things are gonna happen. Be mindful of not getting caught up in what the perfect routine is, what the perfect day is. You have to honor what is in that moment, the gift that has been given. You have to honor the gift that has been given in any given moment. That's a whole lot of gifts. You have to honor that gift, right? Because it's either lessons or blessings for you. But with it, you can determine how to apply that energy. It may be something wild happened. Okay, I need to transmute this. That frustration pops up because of something. Okay, let me transmute this, get it out of your vessel, out of your energy system, because you have the power to do that, because you're God, you're the divine, remember that. Get it out of your energy system and put it in the gas tank. That's how I'm going to phrase it. Just out of your system and into the gas tank. So you can keep moving forward. Sometimes, I don't know who's going through this. Sometimes you just have to laugh at things. It may be a lot of wild, frustrating things that's happening in your personal life. You may just have to laugh at it. Other people might not see it's funny, but that you can use laughter, you can use joy as a method of transmutation. Steering that momentum out of the stress, the frustration, the grief, whatever it is, into joy, into your center, into that love frequency. And with me saying that of the love frequency and speaking about the wild things that happen in life, a part of this momentum message today is also about having an appreciation for your life, no matter what's happening. Because it doesn't matter what it is that you're going through at any given point in time. Whatever that experience is, whether you view it as good or bad, you will never have that exact experience again. It only exists at that moment. So in saying that, this is another way of looking at and applying the law of impermanence. is being able to have gratitude for the experiences that you have. If it's a good experience, being fully present in that moment to embrace it, to be present with it. Because again, that exact situation, circumstance is never going to happen exactly the same way again. There may be spiral key moments where there are similar themes in your life that you return to, but that exact experience is not coming again. So you have to be present in it. And even on the quote unquote negative side, having appreciation that that's not going to go on forever. It's just this moment. So it's a dance. This life is a dance of maintaining balance, of also maintaining momentum, and actively being present, actively being mindful to steer that. And to do that, you have to keep your eyes on the path. You have to make sure that you are looking, visualizing whatever your target is so you can make it there. Not getting sidetracked by other things that's going on that don't have anything to do with you. That don't have anything to do with your purpose or your non-negotiable of well-being. Right? Keeping your eyes on the path is another method of building self-trust. As you continue to look forward of where you're going, take your moments to go within, figure out where you need to adjust and things, but keeping your eye focused on the destination while actively appreciating the journey. I love this message today, y'all. This is a nice one. And this goes back to the balance and that appreciation. You can work towards your goals, but also every step of the way, appreciating that. Because even that gratitude, in terms of momentum, I want you to think beyond momentum towards a specific goal. Thinking beyond that. This message of momentum is all encompassing. So in me speaking about gratitude, that's also understanding that you're building that momentum of gratitude. You're building that habit, that muscle, that pattern of having gratitude for the things that happens in your life. And again, you're God. You're the divine. You're the architect of your reality. So the more that you appreciate what you already have, what is already existing within your reality, the more you align and harmonize with that particular frequency, the more experiences you'll have of that. With this momentum, before I go on, I also want to break down a little bit the concept that you create your reality. And I want to break it down because sometimes when a person is going through hard times, the initial thought is, I didn't create this. The initial thought is to go into that powerlessness, that victim mode, the why me, why would this happen? But remember, I was talking about that retrospection, that looking back, that reevaluating. Whatever momentum track you are currently on, you either built that consciously or unconsciously, which is why it's important to be aware of what and who is in the driver's seat. Unconsciously, you may have created this momentum from your traumas, from your reactions to that, the thing that needs to be transmuted. Or you've been mindful on the path, you've been active on the path, and you've built this momentum of the desired reality that you want to exist in. And this is why I also mentioned the decisions, the simple, sometimes singular decisions that steer and move and shift and direct your momentum. Because if it's been the trauma track, things need to be transmuted. It's time to shift out of those responses, those habits, those ways of being, and begin to steer that momentum back to the light, back to the remembrance, back to the active embodiment of your power. We're going to let that marinate. Steering your path, deciding your momentum and where you're going to go, requires that mindfulness that we talked about. The mindfulness, and I'm going to say overall management. Yes, time management, but it's also energy management. Because, we always say time doesn't exist, and I fully believe that it doesn't. But our perception is connected to that here in this physical plane. So also being mindful of your energy management when it comes to that momentum. If you choose to speed down your path and your journey, we talked before about that burnout. That's not managing your energy, which right now it's coming through as a separation between building momentum and building to burnout. That's good. Building energy towards your momentum and building to burnout. Those are different. It has a different energy, a different frequency to that, different intentions behind it. And I see that someone in the chat said, what if you still don't remember? There are things to be transmuted. If you don't remember your power or you're not actively connecting to it, there's something that's interfering with that. That may be veils that you've put up, could be trauma that you're holding on to. That transmutation is needed because you've built your momentum in a different way. With me saying this, also understanding that you have to slow. Think about this. If a car is speeding down a hill, right? It's going to be harder, not even speeding down a hill, speeding down a road. It's going to be harder to stop that than if it was going 5 miles an hour. It's easier to stop when the momentum has slowed. So if you have the momentum of, I'm going to say, denying your power, denying the truth of who you are, you have to interrupt that pattern, which, very good. You have to interrupt that pattern because you've built the momentum of this. You broke the pattern, the habit of not seeing it, ignoring it, giving it away, whatever that is. Every time that comes up, which is going back to those mindfulness checks, when you have that thought of powerlessness or that thought that you are less than, however that expresses, when those thoughts come up, interrupting it, stopping that pattern and doing something new in that moment, steering that moment. One decision builds momentum. You have to actively make that decision. So with that, if that is where you currently are on your journey, which again, there's no judgment with that. That's just where you are on your journey. One of the ways to interrupt that pattern is to insert something new. And interestingly enough, I was going to share this affirmation that came through to share with you all. And this is one that Light Guardian Dominic says often, and I got from him originally. But I am actively transforming into the greatest version of myself. I am actively transforming into the greatest version of myself. And what I love about that particular phrasing is, one, we have its active, because we know you have to be active on your journey and on your path to make any change. And because it's active, the decision is in that moment, in that now present moment. Reclaiming your power is not as difficult as people think. It's a decision. Interrupting that pattern. The pattern is going, you have this negative thought about yourself or however it expresses. Stop acknowledging it, being aware in that moment that that's what's happening without judgment, right? Being the eye in the forest, simply observing that moment, observing this aspect of your human experience. Because again, you're already ascended. You just forgot. The human has to go through this journey, right? Interrupting that moment, becoming aware. Oh, I'm repeating this pattern. I don't want this to continue. Let me stop. Let me command something new in this moment. Let me assert my power now in this moment. And actively choose to steer. I am actively transforming into the greatest version of myself. What happened before does not matter. Because in this moment, you are choosing to apply your power, to apply your power of choice, your power of decision, your power to do something different. In truth, you are not bound by those past traumas. That's energetic and it's in your mind, but that's not the truth. And I hope that makes sense. So when you're in those moments, remove the veil, take off that mask, and decide in each of those moments to build that new momentum in the direction that you want to go. Decide to transform, to transmute those energies like we were talking about, and steer yourself back to the light, out of those shadows. Transmuting those shadows, but out of it. And in me saying that, healing is not, we're not always healing. There are some times where we are simply being, and then new things will come up in life, right? But even for those of you who are actively in a healing journey right now, understanding that with that, to be mindful of not building the momentum of focusing on the shadows, focusing all of your time management, focusing all of your time, all of your energy on quote unquote, what is wrong. Yes, do the work to remove those things, to heal those things, to release those things, and also make sure that you focus on the light. Make sure that you focus on the ways that you are growing, the ways that you are expressing your power, using your voice, and showing up to your life. I've said before, the soul growth and life purpose, all of these things are active. So even if you're working on healing these things, congratulate yourself for doing the work instead of hyper focusing on the mess, the gunk, and the junk. You've done some work, you've cleaned it up, you're building new patterns and habits. Focus on that, build the momentum on that well-being. Because we're constantly transforming. And this is something that came up in the Telegram chat earlier today, but being able to really see how you're transforming, how you're growing, and acknowledging that. So on this path and with the momentum of whatever version of yourself that you are actively working towards to expand into, understand that you are building that brick by brick. You don't just throw up a house. There's a process. So focus on the things that you're doing. Focus on those small habits. Focus on the simple ways that one decision to build the momentum in the direction that you want to go, and then keep making those decisions. Keep building that momentum, that repetition of wellness. That repetition of wellness is what's going to help you. And bringing it back to staying close to the fire. That's both external with your community and the people around you, but that's also with your own personal practices. That's also with tuning within, with connecting with your soul, connecting with your guides. These things you can do anytime, anywhere. But making sure that you maintain that and you continue to pour into you. You continue to pour into you. And with all of this, recognize that this life is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So you also need to pace yourself. You can build momentum in a direction without burning out, which goes back to yesterday, having that non-negotiable of wellness. And when I say pace yourself, that's continuing to pour into yourself. But part of that is taking the time and pausing again to celebrate your wins, to celebrate how you are growing, to acknowledge where you are now in your life that is completely different from where you were before. With whatever amount of work you've been doing, because yesterday was about putting in work, and we're going to continue to level up from that. Yes, and you have to acknowledge what you've already done. And what you are actively, again, I say, actively doing. You're meditating. Acknowledge that. Allow yourself to embrace and nurture your becoming, embrace and nurture who you are. And that's also building the momentum of self-love. And we said before, loving the journey, loving the process to build that momentum. Instead of that frustration momentum, that deprecation momentum, all of those things that you view as undesirable, make the decisions to build the momentum in the direction that you want to go, brick by brick. Being mindful every day, multiple times throughout the day, of the momentum that you're building, the momentum that you're allowing, all of that, and remaining close to the fire. So I want to also mention and remind everyone of the most recent divinity session, which is related to the song that opened today, I Am the Forex. Remembering that we have our experience in this entire life, yes, and observe the things that's happening without internalizing everything. That's some of the things that needs to be transmuted. All of these energies are not yours to keep and not yours to hoard. Let it go. Don't even take it in. If someone comes to your door with a package that does not belong to you, turn it away. That energy is not for you. Why? Because you are actively deciding to steer your momentum in this direction. You are actively transforming into the greatest version of yourself. And these things don't serve you. Send it off with love and care, but release it, transmute it. Let it be your fuel to go forward. So find something today to be grateful for in your journey, big or small, and pay attention to the momentum that you're building. Because that momentum can become an unstoppable force for your good or an unstoppable force for your destruction. That is your active decision to make. Stay close to the fire. Build the momentum in alignment, in harmony, again, with the 3 pillars, with your well-being. Celebrate your wins. Build this thing brick by brick and make those active decisions, big and small, to transform into the greatest version of yourself. And that is allowing, activating, and nurturing that divine remembrance of the power that you already have, of the God that you already are. Build that momentum. With that, we are going to close out this channeled wisdom circle today. Apply the messages, y'all. Zorkunti. And as I always say, be well and thrive, y'all. Perpetually.